or not?
No.
No. Okay.
Sir,
Okay.
not
So
the sir,
okay.
holidays after the exam.
Acha. It's a
It
holiday
is
after the exam.
April.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So we will continue. So this is the first class of class 7th, and the very first chapter. I will be just giving you guys a brief of the syllabus of class 7th. Okay, na? So I'm waiting for Priyanka to join back, and then we will be continuing. So in class 7, in total there are somewhere around 13 and 14 chapters are there, and some of the syllabus is similar to what you studied in class 6 also. Only the level of the content has been leveled up. Okay, now. I'm still waiting for Priyanka to be back.
Sir,
Yeah, Priyanka.
yeah, sorry.
Okay, no issues. So we will be first of all discussing the syllabus of class 7 science. Okay, no? And then after that, we will be beginning with the very first chapter. Okay. Before I begin, if you guys have any queries, if you want to ask any questions to me regarding me, you can ask.
Okay.
So let's begin then. So in total, these are the chapters of your class 7 science. The first chapter is nutrition in plants, followed by the second chapter, that is nutrition in animals. So the first two chapter deals with nutrition in plants and animals. Let me tell you how we are going to approach this chapter. First of all, in the chapter nutrition in plants, we are going to understand what is nutrition. What do we mean by nutrition? Right now, then is the way of nutrition. First of all, let me just give you a one line definition of nutrition so you guys get an idea of what we are basically discussing. So nutrition is basically the mode of taking of food by different organisms. Getting it, Abu? The mode of taking of food by different organisms. Okay, na Priyanka. Priyanka, are you facing some network issues?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you okay? Is it the mobile network which you are using, or have you got a Wi-Fi connection?
I got a Wi-Fi connection, I guess.
Okay. So we are saying that in the chapter we will understand first of all what is nutrition. In simple terms, we say that nutrition is basically the mode of taking food by different organisms and then utilizing it to obtain energy, and the energy that we will be getting from the food, we will be using it to do different tasks. So that is what nutrition is. And then the nutrition in animals, nutrition in different plants is different from each other. Nutrition in plants is different, while nutrition in animals is different. And then in the case of nutrition in plants also, there are some other classification which we'll be studying, like what is the process by which plants are making their food, huh? And the rest of the organisms are actually directly or indirectly dependent upon plants for their survival, right? Now, so there are two types of organisms. One that can prepare their own
Sir,
food.
I don't hear because I have a network issues.
Okay. I'm repeating again. Okay, no. Basically, I'm just giving you guys a gist of the chapter, like what are the things we are studying. I will be speaking slowly a little bit. Okay, no.
Okay.
So we will be understand what is nutrition. Then later on, we will understand what are the two types of nutrition: type 1 and type 2. In type 1, we will be studying only about the plants. So what we have been studying that plants can prepare their own food. But some of you would be aware, like you would have studied about some plants that can't prepare their own food. They have to depend on others, right? No. So in plants also you will understand there are two types of plants. One that can completely prepare their own food, while some of the plants like pitcher plant, Venus flytrap, okay now. So they are partially dependent on others for nutrition, not completely but partially. Then in the case of type 2, all the animals will be counted in the type 2, in which you will be having different examples. We humans will be counted in that. Different type of bread mold, huh, algae, fungus, all of them will be counted in the second category. So I am just giving you a brief idea of what are the things we'll be studying in this chapter. Okay, now. Also, whenever I begin a chapter, before beginning with the chapter, there are few fundamental things I always discuss with my students. So again, in today's class also, before directly jumping to the chapter nutrition and plants, we'll be discussing few other things as well. Okay, now. You guys have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, yes, Abu Bakr, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, have a look at some basic questions here. We are able to see an object due to the presence of, both of you can answer. We are able to see things around us. Why is it so? Because of
Light.
light, isn't it, Abu? Because of light. When light falls on a very smooth and polished surface, what happens?
We can see objects.
Mhm. Repeat again.
We can see objects.
No, no. Question number. This question here says, when light falls on a smooth, polished surface, you have to answer from the given options.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now. Abu, you also have to answer this. Yes, Abu, what do you think? Priyanka? See, basically what happens, this is something which you guys would have studied in class 6 also. D or B. C. What
B,
happens? B, option number B you're saying. Okay, what about you, Priyanka?
I am not sure, sir.
Okay, look here. Basically, the thing is that suppose you are holding a mirror. Huh? So if you see that, if you were to project the torch light, if you were to project the torch light on a plain mirror, what do you will see? What do you observe? Suppose you are holding a mirror and you project a torch light on this mirror. So what we observe, that light falls on this mirror and then reflects back, and you can actually see this reflected light on a wall. Have you guys ever done that? If you were to direct mirror in the sunlight, we as a kid used to play it, and we would be projecting the mirror at face of people at different places. Have you guys done that? Have you guys observed that? Did you guys understood the example or not? The example which I gave. You hold it. You hold a torch in your hand. You project the light on a plane mirror. Light gets reflected, and the reflection of the light you can see on a wall. Huh? So what we are
Yes.
seeing here, when light is falling on this plane mirror, which is a very smooth polished surface. So thereby, by our experience, we have seen that it is getting reflected back into the same medium right now. But look at the direction. It was falling in this direction and got reflected in another direction. So as Abu, you were saying option number B, that it gets reflected in different direction. That is the correct option. Is it clear, Priyanka, to you? Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Hmm, good. Okay. See if you guys can answer the third question. No problem if you don't know the answer of it, because this is something which you are yet to study in the chapter. But still, if you guys know, do let me know. Hmm. Anyone? What is a fungi? Is it a parasite, autotroph, saprotroph, or insectivore? Okay, do one thing. Let's stop. Let's leave this question. Once we discuss that, once we discuss about different types of organisms, what are different types of autotrophic organisms and heterotrophic, we will come back to this question again. As I was saying that before I proceed with the chapter, there are a few basic things we are going to discuss. So you guys tell me, how do you differentiate between a living thing and a non-living thing? Starting from you, Priyanka. How do you differentiate between a living organism and a non-living organism? Consider you have a car. You have a car and you have a person here. How do you say that this person is a living being while this car is a non-living being? What valid points do you guys have? Yes, Priyanka.
Sir,
Mhm. I can hear you.
okay.
Mhm.
Living organism actually needs to survive in food,
Needs food to survive.
air,
Okay.
and non-living thing is just
Mhm. For
and
example, in the context of this car, it requires fuel.
it needs, yeah, fuel and battery.
Fuel or electricity, we can say.
Yeah,
What else? Both of them does movement.
yeah,
Yes, Abu. This can also do movement. This will also be doing movement. So kind of we are seeing that food and fuel both are somewhat similar. Although there's a major difference, but both of them provides energy. Right now, fuel provides energy for the car to run, and food provides energy to living organism to survive, to function. Both of them can move. I'm not seeing any very fundamental difference between the two. You guys give some more points. Like if you were to throw a stone on this car, will it respond?
no,
No. While if you throw at a man, unfortunately, someone throws a stone at a man, he will respond. He will become angry and he might throw it back to that person.
yeah,
So they will be respond, that is stimulus. Right now, they will respond. Basically, meaning that they will be having a stimulus. Meaning that suppose you touch something very hot, you immediately remove your hand. So whatever external action is happening, you respond to it. That is called as stimulus. While there is no stimulus in this case. What else? You have, suppose this person, there are two pairs of this person. The one is a male, one is a female. They can reproduce and give birth to a new living organism. While can car do that? Obviously no, that's a stupid thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they can do reproduction, living organisms, while they can't. Okay, now what else? You guys mention some more points. Yes,
A.
Abu, Priyanka.
A.
Repeat again. Can a car breathe? Hmm? While a
The
living
air.
organism, air. Basically, the living organism will be breathing the air, breathing air.
Yeah.
Where you're saying
Breathing.
air. Mhm.
We need.
Wha- Okay, now also, once the living organism takes in food, so once all the essential components of food has been utilized, the waste material needs to be excreted out. So any living organisms, even if you have a bacteria, even if you have a virus, every living organism does excretion. Even the plants does excretion, right? No. So living organism does excretion while living non-living does not does excretion. Okay, no. So these are the fundamental differences between living organism and non-living organisms. Hope you guys get it. Now we have been talking about living organisms, and you see, Abu, that all the living, just like you see a building. A building is made up of walls, huh? And if you were to look at the walls, walls are built up of bricks. Of course, there are some other elements like cement, sand,
Hmm?
gravel, huh? Iron
Can
pillars.
you repeat again because I had a network issue?
Huh, Priyanka? I was saying that all the living organisms that we see, they are made up of cells. Let's understand what a cell by the example of a building. So we see that the buildings are made up of walls. Right now, buildings are made up of walls,
Was.
and we find out that walls are further made up of bricks. Getting it now? Walls are further made up of bricks. Of course, there are some other materials also like cement, sand, iron pillars, etc. are also there. Anyways, but we see that the fundamental unit of this building is actually a brick. Getting it? What I'm trying to say. The fundamental building block of this, the fundamental unit of this building is a brick. So you joined all the bricks with the help of cement and sand to make a building. In the similar manner, when you look at the human body or any animal body or the body of microorganisms, you find out that the tiniest structure, the tiniest fundamental unit in their body is a cell. So you find out that consider any tissues in our body. So you find out that different cells join together to form tissue. Tissues further join to form an organ. Organs further join to form an organ system, and that makes up a complete organism. So you have different cells. So you have a cell. Cells will be joining to form tissues. Tissues will be joining to form bones, skin, different organs, and different organs like the heart, kidney, liver, huh, pancreas, not pancreas, it's a gland, heart, kidney, liver, stomach, large intestine, small intestine, all these organs, the brain, huh, all these organs will be joining together and they will be functioning together in a very coordinated manner to make up a complete organism. But when we find the tiniest unit, we come down to a cell. So just like you had the example of a brick, that is the tiny unit of this building, in the similar manner in our body is consisting of trillions of cells are there in our body. Somewhere around 3 to 4 trillions of cells are there in our body. So similar to that, you find similar to the example of this building, cells are the tiny units that makes up any living organisms. Is it clear to both of you? Both of you understood this or not? Please to let me know.
Yes.
Abu, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what do you guys think this image uh, represents? What does this image look like? Any idea? What is this image here? This is a
Biosca?
no, not a sorry, not a bioscope. It's a traditional microscope. Okay, no? It's a traditional microscope, and using this microscope, Robert Hooke discovered cells for the first time. Note, I'm saying that he discovered cells, not invented. Invention is a different thing, discovery is a different thing. So Robert Hooke was the first person to have discovered the cells. So do note that thing also. Like cells were always there, but Robert Hooke was the first person to have identified this using a very simple microscope. Microscope is an instrument that is used to magnify small things, small objects. Now, since there are different species of animals and plants on Earth, so you know that somewhere around 8 to 9 million different species of animals and plants are there on this Earth. Priyanka was saying that on Earth there are somewhere around 8 to 9 million different species of organisms are there on Earth. Okay, no? And different organisms are there, hence their cells will also be very different from each other. No? So, for example, look at the typical structure of the cell of an animal and that of a plant. Both of them are very different from each other because a plant is a different from an animal and hence their cells are also very much different. They have got different functions to perform, hence they have got some difference in their structure. Okay, no? For example, in the slide, you can have a look at some of the different types of cells which we have in our nature. This is a more detailed view of the structure of the plant cell. Again, the different parts of it is not very much important right now. Just have a look at how a typical plant cell looks like. Just like we humans are having different organs, we are having kidney, we are having heart, we are having lungs, we are having stomach, small intestine, large intestine, brain. So does this plant cell also has. It has got a nucleus that does the working of thinking. It's the brain of the cell. This is structure that you see here. This is structure. Just like we guys have a skin that protects us from different external conditions, different from harsh climatic conditions. Similar to that, a plant cell also will be having a outermost covering that is called as a cell wall that protects it from intense heat of summer, intense amount of rainfall, intense climatic conditions in winter, etc. These are the main structures found in a typical cell: nucleus, cell membrane, cytoplasm, cell organelles. Again, I'm telling you, these are not the things which we need to study in detail, so I'm skipping this. If you guys want to give it a read, you can read it once I provide you the PPT. Now have a look at this video. Observe it carefully. You can actually see that something is moving in the body of this microorganism. Did you guys observe that few things were moving inside the body of this microorganisms? Huh? Yes, Priyanka, Abu, let me play it again. Now look at it. Okay, did you guys observe something inside it? It's actually moving.
Yes.
Yes, Abu? Now, you would be amazed to know that this living organism is made up of just one cell. This is just made up of only one cell. And I told you how many cells are there in our body. Almost somewhere around 3 to 4 trillion cells are there in our body. How many? 3 to 4 trillion cells are in the human body, in an average human body. Now think of this organism, this microorganism that is having just one cell, and it's capable of performing all the necessary functions to stay alive. It can take food, it can digest that food, it can excrete that food, even it can do reproduction, even it can multiply. How many zeros are there, by the way, in 1 trillion? Anyone? How many zeros are there in a trillion? There are 12 zeros in a trillion. They are one. You write one and put 12 zeros after one. So that is, trillion is such a big number. Getting it? So it is like this. And this is just one cell. And this many cells. And not, this is just 1 trillion. You have got somewhere around 3 to 4 trillions. So 3 along with 12 zeros. Right now? So this is how amazing the nature is. A living organism, even with just one cell, is capable of performing all the necessary functions to stay alive. And the name of this microorganism is amoeba. Okay, now do remember the name of this one. Now, moving further, now we are finally coming to the main topic of this chapter. Before I begin, if you guys have any questions, any queries, please do let me know. Okay, shall we continue then?
Sir,
Yes. Apu, you aren't saying anything. Also, you guys turn your cameras on in the class. So let's understand what is nutrition. As earlier, I also told you guys that nutrition, as you guys know, that all living organisms require food. Food gives the organisms energy for growth, for the maintenance of their body functions. Why do we require food? Yes, what is the need of food? Yes, Priyanka. Yes, Abu Bakr. What is the need of food? Are you guys able to connect with what I'm saying or not? Or are you guys getting bored? Hmm? Hello?
Sir,
Also, guys, no, please speak a little bit louder. Okay. No? So my question is that why food is required? Yes, Abu, why food is required?
To get our necessary requirements of energy.
Okay, to basically obtain energy from the food to perform necessary functions, necessary body functions. Okay, no? Okay, Priyanka, you tell me what are the important body functions? What are the important functions our body performs? So first reason, as you told me, to obtain energy. Why do we require energy? To perform body functions. Hmm. Yes, Priyanka. Our body is continuously growing also, not in that manner that after a certain age, growth of height stops. Okay, now growth of some organs stops. But if the cells are getting damaged, new cells regrow. Huh? If someone has a cut, someone has a wound or a cut, so after some time it heals back. It heals back. Someone is suffering from some disease, with proper cure, with proper medicine and treatment, the person is able to regain health and recover. So the reason is that actually whenever our cells are damaged now, whenever our cells are damaged, with proper amount of nutrition, those cells can be repaired back. Getting it now? So basically, whenever there is a wound, so many thousands and thousands and lakhs of cells are actually dying. Thousands of cells are dying right now. So once the cells die, another layer of cells will regrow. So to obtain energy, so that we are able to perform different bodily functions can be done. And then second thing is that so that to for growth also we require. Growth is also of two types. Remember this thing. One type of growth that is taking place in a baby. The height and the weight of the baby continuously grows. After a certain age, the growth of height stops. Muscles can grow. Muscles can grow with exercise and proper food, but height will not grow any further. So growth also has two meanings: growth of height and weight, and in second way we mean that growth of uh, we basically mean by repairing of cells. So how cells are basically repaired when there is a wound or cut? Basically, another layer of cells regrow. And for the maintenance also, for the maintenance of the body also, food is required. And as we were talking about, to obtain energy to perform different body functions. So what are the body functions, different type of functions our body is performing? You guys know that we need to take nutrition, right? We are required to digest the food. We need to absorb the essential nutrients from the food. So after digestion, all the essential nutrients from the food is absorbed, right now, and that nutrients goes to different parts of the body, and the blood absorbs the nutrients, and blood transports all the nutrients to each and every cell of our body. So assimilation, we will be studying all these things, don't worry. Assimilation is there. And then finally, the waste material is released, that is excretion. So these are some of the common body functions, and in order to perform all these functions we are in need of energy. Getting it now, Priyanka and Abu? To perform all these functions our body requires energy, and that energy is coming from the food that we are eating. So that is why food is necessary. Is it clear? Any questions? So what we have studied, that nutrition is nothing but the mode of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body. In what ways food is being utilized, we just had an idea about it. In order to perform different body functions, for growth in height and weight, and then growth in terms of repairing of cells and maintaining them. Different body functions are what? These are the mainly body functions. These are the body functions that are continuously happening. Nutrition might not, it's not a 24-hour process, but digestion, absorption, assimilation, okay, no? And excretion is also a 24-hour process, because it's not, excretion does not only mean the removal of solid and liquid waste from our body. We exhale carbon dioxide outside, that is also excretion. So it's a
Sir,
continuous process. Yes, Priyanka.
actually, I can't hear you.
Priyanka, I think that here you're having network issues. Thereby, you might be having trouble in listening to me. Let me see if there's any issue from my side. Abu, please confirm whether I'm audible to you properly or not.
Yes, sir. Audible to you.
Okay. Priyanka, see, okay, if you can, if you can turn the airplane mode on and off, see if that helps. But the thing is that you're actually connected from Wi-Fi now, so that won't help in fixing the problem. Am I still not audible to you? Yes, Priyanka? Suppose I'm still not audible to you. Huh? Okay, do one thing now. If the problem is still persist, if the problem is still there, dear, you can now. Okay, she's joining from a different ID. Abu, so far, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, Priyanka, am I audible to you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So nutrition is basically the process of taking food by an organism and then its utilization by the body. Now, also one more important thing, like the food that we are eating, what does it consist of? What does the food consist of? Hmm? Look at the given chart here, given graph, given image here. The food that we are eating, it consists of carbohydrate. Some, I will be back in a minute. Let me have some water, okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm back. Sorry for the interruption. So, guys, I was saying that the food that we consume, some of the foods are rich in carbohydrate. You must have heard of, like, patients that are suffering from diabetes, they are advised not to take very rich carbohydrate diet. If someone, unfortunately, in your family or in your or the person you know, if that person is suffering from diabetes, doctor advises them not to consume too much of rice, not to consume too much of potato and sugar. Have you heard of it?
Yes, sir.
Right now, isn't it, Abu? Or if someone is having a very high level of cholesterol in his blood or in her blood, so doctor advises them not to consume meat, not to consume fatty food. Right now, so all these things are interlinked. So the food that you're eating, some of the food are having good amount of carbohydrate, like the groundnut, this potato chips here you see. Okay, some of the foods like fishes, meat, they are rich sources of protein. So the food that we consist of, majorly they consist of carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, and water. So what are these? These are the essential nutrients found in our food, and each of them is important. Right now, like whenever you must have heard of a balanced diet. So a balanced diet is such a diet which consists a slight amount of each of these components. A balanced diet is one that consists of some amount of carbohydrate, also some amount of protein, fat, vitamin, mineral, and water. So one should try to have a balanced diet which consists of all the necessary nutrients, because all these nutrients have got different roles to perform. For example, carbohydrates gives you energy. These are instant energy giving food. Protein helps in muscle building. Fats are energy reserves. Huh? So whenever someone is like someone is hungry and someone has not eaten for several hours, so how that person is alive? Suppose a person hasn't eaten for 1 or 2 days. There is no food in the stomach, but how still the person is gaining energy? So thereby the body is now getting energy from the fat that is stored in the body. So some amount of fat is also important. Then you have vitamins found in different type of fruits and in vegetables as well. For example, you have vitamin K, vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin B1, huh? Vitamin B12. All these vitamins are important because they have got different roles to perform. They improves the immune of the body. Some vitamins keeps are responsible for the good health of our eye. Some of the vitamins, if you don't take a good amount of that particular vitamin, for example, vitamin K helps in clotting of blood. If someone has a cut, so you will find out that after some time the blood starts to clot and the blood flow stops. What unfortunately, if the flow will not stop, the blood continues to fall, the person might die because of loss of blood. So it is actually vitamin K that helps in the clotting of blood. Then doctor many times advises you to take different type of minerals. Like if the bones are getting weaker, doctor will advise to take calcium tablets are advised. Vitamin D tablets are prescribed. Getting it, guys? So all these are different type of nutrients that are found in our diet, and all of them have got different functions to perform. Also, when we talk about these nutrients, it's not like, uh, for example, a meat. Meat consists of good amount of protein, but it will consist of some amount of fat also. Huh? It might have a slight amount of carbohydrate in it also. Getting into what I'm trying to say. Hmm? So that is the thing about it. So you guys had a background what basically nutrition is. So both of you define to me, starting from Abu, what do you mean by nutrition? What is nutrition?
So nutrition is like mm, it means uh, different different it
Mhm.
like means different things like for example protein.
No, that is nutrient. I haven't asked about nutrient. I have asked about nutrition. Nutrients is something that is found in the food, while nutrition is a process. Both are two different things. Okay, now continue. Okay, you can define it later if you want to take some time. Priyanka, you define what is nutrition. Hello.
Sir, is it? It's a process,
Obviously, it's a process.
and
Process of taking food by an organism.
yeah,
Huh?
food taking.
Right now, process of taking of food by an organism, and then its utilization by the organism to perform different function. Right now, that's what nutrition is. In nutrition means
Yes.
in simple words, isn't it? Isn't it, Abu? Okay, no. So we'll be ending today's class here. In the next class, we'll be studying about autotrophs and heterotrophs. What are these two? Okay, no. So from here, we will be continuing in the next class. You guys are required to learn about these different components of the food: carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, and water. And I will also be asking again why food is required in our body. What are the different functions which our body performs, namely these functions. So do you remember these points? If you guys have any doubts, any questions, please do let me know. Is any questions?
No, sir.
All right, Abu, any questions?
No sir.
Okay, so let's end the class here. We will be hopefully meeting in the next class.